Peggy 18.
A brutal blood sport of the future.
Big, violent roller coaster.
Intense, high-octane.
Deathly entertainment.
You either win or you die.
So in the year 2066, human cloning is commonplace. We see contestants controlling their avatars, which are human clones, for the purposes of entertainment.
It's set in a universe where people have gotten bored of normal entertainment and they want something a bit more visceral, a bit more messy. And so we've kind of gone back to the sort of gladiatorial arenas of ancient Rome.
It's what you expect the ultimate game show in the future will be. It's fast, bipedal racing. You drop mines, you can shoot others from behind, you can barge them into death. Death is basically everywhere.
So the game is predominantly PvP, but we do have a range of PvE options as well. We'll use some exotic game rules to mix things up a little bit, but everything players need to enjoy the game is included in the game itself at launch.
We decided not to go for live elements. We don't have a store in there, we don't have a shop.
All of the tracks, all of the cosmetics, basically everything is in for the price of the game, and we think this is a refreshing approach. Deathsprint 66 started off as more of an escape room challenge. So you were running through levels, you were fighting AI, so you were shooting, you had the traps, you had the traversals, but you also had another team that you were messing with at the same time. But there was just too much going on, and people just, in the prototype, they were like, should I be racing? Should I be shooting? Should I be collecting these things? And again, we just said, let's just keep it simple and just perfect it.
We can make sure that the core of the game is great, but let's not go too far, let's not try too many things, because we want to polish what we have, make sure that this is absolutely world-class.
On the surface, it looks simple, it's just racing, but there's so much depth to it. From a level design point of view, there's a lot that I can do there. It is just a simple track, and then I can build upon that with layer upon layer of things for the player to use and interact with, and options for them to take. The design challenge of that is really good fun.
So our team has a really broad experiences, both at Sumo and before. We've worked on platforming games, racing games, PvE, PvP stuff. And I actually think not having just, a pure thoroughbred racing background is a strength for this game, because it's not a typical racing game.
We are a team that is experienced in multiplayer, and that is extremely important to get that architecture right, to have the fast reaction everywhere, replicated on everybody else's machine and all that. Doing that online takes a lot of experience.
The near future setting is interesting, because I think when you get too far into the future, it's all utopian. And I think it's far more interesting for games like Deathsprint to take more of a Paul Verhoeven approach, So when we look back at things like RoboCop, it's tangible. You can actually imagine the world in 50 years' time. You can imagine the problems of today kind of, amplified over that period of time. And the violence in the game, it's there, it's got a purpose. It should be kind of shocking, but also laugh out loud funny. It's not there to be gratuitous. We're not making Saw. You gasp, but it's punctuated with a laugh, ultimately.
The aspect of gore in the game is one that has split the team, interestingly, at the beginning, because some people were saying, oh, we might turn people off. We tested that, and people came back and said, actually, no, it's cool. It's so over the top that you think, oh my God, this can't be real.
Our clones have 200% more blood than a normal human being should. Especially because at high speeds, we really need to crank that goriness up to 11 for people to notice it. There's something very compelling about kicking someone's head down the track and leaving a bloody messy trail as you do it. It's great.
Fame is incredibly important to the fantasy of Deathsprint. On a simple level, that's kind of your rank, and the XP that you earn is what we call hype. But it's all about exciting an audience, really. It's about, keeping an audience glued to the screen. And to do that, you're doing more and more extreme things. You could make comparisons with the world right now. We're surrounded by clickbait, shock headlines. Have you seen this? Click, click, click. That was the start of the idea. Ultimately, it's a riff on the notion that we're entertaining ourselves to death.
There are loads and loads of cities that have been abandoned. That's basic cheap real estate that backmen can buy and put racing tracks in it.
As they travel through traversals and around the track, to carry that speed and keep getting faster and faster and faster to the point where, you know, you're blurring the line between being in control and being totally out of control.